And so when you deal with couples, say you have a couple that is having fights over or arguing over the child's well-being or how to care for a child.
Yeah.
What's the one thing that you find is helpful when what one person is trying to say doesn't go through the other person, or just comes out and goes right through them? They're not really hearing it.
Right, they're right, because what will happen is they kind of draw the line in the sand, excuse me, and as they're drawing the line in the sand, they're kind of really steadfast on their point of view. So what I do in situations like that is help them back up a little bit and understand where their belief system is coming from, and actually giving them the opportunity of articulating what they believe. Because that's the piece that ultimately gets missed, right? They don't say, well, I grew up with my parents telling me to do my chores, right? And so if they don't say that, they just kind of say he needs to do his chores, right? And they don't really say where it's coming from. And sometimes you have to assess as couples, well, if that's the case, do we need to come up with a new rule for our marriage? And more often than not, they don't do that, right? So we help them do that in that peace building space.
Right. Wow,
Yes.
that's really fascinating. What
Yes.
other strategies do you use when you are facing parties in conflict? What other strategies do you use to help them resolve?
Sure. Actually, that's pretty much consistent across the board, because when you have companies or two individuals within a company that are in conflict, a lot of it is based on what they believe. Right. And so we have to really start from the beginning, like, how did this start? Let's get to the root cause of it. And now let's talk about what you both believe about the situation. And sometimes it's just miscommunication and they haven't even understood that they're not on the same page, or they had different information. So when you start to break it down in those pretty minute details, then they can start to have conversation to get to a place of resolution.